Would you pay $5 million to live in the US? Apparently 1,000 people already did in a single day, racking up $5 billion in revenue.
We're going to be selling a gold card.
And by the way, yesterday I sold 1,000.
And the plan is to sell 1 million of these cards to bring forward $1 trillion to this country.
And we'll be able to sell maybe 1 million of these cards, maybe more than that. As an example, 1 million cards would be worth $5 trillion.
On February 25th, 2025, President Donald Trump announced permanent residency to anyone for the price of $5 million.
He's opening up this financial pathway for people that want to have U.S. citizenship. For $5 million, you can buy a golden card visa.
President Trump floating the possibility of a $5 million gold card as a pathway to American citizenship.
This isn't some exclusive membership or high-end real estate deal. This is Trump's golden card, or now what many people are calling the Trump card. And it's completely changing the landscape on U.S. immigration, real estate, and the economy as we speak. But who are the ultra-rich buyers? And what happens when they start throwing all their money in the U.S. markets, particularly real estate? What's coming next just might shift the entire U.S. real estate market, and no one's prepared for it. What exactly is the golden card or the Trump card? Unlike traditional investor visas, which usually require investors to spend roughly $1 million and employ between 8 and 10 workers.
President Trump has proposed the idea of creating a gold card visa and replace the EB-5 visa, which is available to investors who spend about $1 million on the company.
Now, they do replace a 35-year-old visa program aimed at bringing investors and job creators to the U.S.
We're going to end the EB-5 program. We're going to replace it with the Trump Gold Card.
The golden card is a straight-up cash transaction. $5 million and you're in. No business required, no economic growth promised. Just $5 million up front and you get permanent U.S. residency in the United States. This is similar to the golden visa programs, commonly seen in the UK, in Australia, and of course, Portugal, where governments offer fast-track programs to wealthy investors.
Over 10,900 migrants in total have arrived the United Kingdom through the Golden Visa since the scheme began.
Portugal Golden Visa might be your answer. A residency by investment program that opens a pathway to Portuguese citizenship.
But there's a big difference here. The US is targeting the ultra elite. According to the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, the program is so popular that they sold 1,000 of these cards with almost no effort within 24 hours. It's $5 billion in a single day, which he said can be used to pay off the national debt.
And they can invest in America, and we can use that money to reduce our deficit.
Which, by the way, is sitting at a record $36.6 trillion. $5 billion is just 0.0137% of the debt we have outstanding.
And the nation's gross national debt hit a record high on Monday, rising above $35 trillion.
The U.S. national debt currently sits at $34.8 trillion.
The last time U.S. debt was this much was during World War II, when military spending hit record highs. It's now more than $34 trillion.
He said there's 37 million people in the world that are capable of buying the Trump card. And the President, Donald Trump, thinks we can sell 1 million of them.
There are 37 million people in the world who are capable of buying the card.
And we'll be able to sell maybe 1 million of these cards, maybe more than that.
$1 trillion worth of wealth to this country. But in 2022, for context, Homeland Security reported that 8,000 investor visas were granted inside of a 12-month window. And now they believe they can sell 1 million of these golden cards or Trump cards. That's a 12,400% increase from what investors bought in 2022. But here's the real question. Who's really buying these visas? Let's be real. The people buying these types of visas, $5 million, they're not your everyday millionaire. Nobody with a net worth of $6, $7, $8 million is going to drop $5 million on a golden visa or a Trump card. The people that are going to drop $5 million are going to be centimillionaires, $100 million net worth or more, billionaires, politicians, international politicians, heads of oil companies, major players, billionaires. That's who they're targeting. And these elites, they like the idea of diversification, diversifying their hundreds of millions or billions of dollars worth of wealth into a country like America. And some would say there's no safer place to invest some of that wealth than U.S. soil, our real estate. And that's exactly what corporate elites are doing. They're diversifying that risk into U.S. market. Reports show huge interest from China, the Middle East, and Russian regions, where the wealthy are looking for financial safety nets. And it's not just foreign buyers. Tech billionaires and real estate tycoons are reportedly buying multiple golden cards for their families and business associates. But why would these billionaires rush into these visas? Simple. They're not just moving here, they're moving their money here. Now here's where things get really interesting. When billionaires and the elite buy homes here, they don't just buy a beautiful condo or a co-op in New York City, a big spread in LA, or a beautiful villa in Miami. They want to put their money to work by buying income-producing real estate, ideally in smaller towns where their yield is going to be far greater than what they'd get in many big cities. Sure, they will buy lavish mansions, no doubt about it. But that's going to be for their primary use, not as a rental property. They're looking for high rental yields, not just luxury homes. This means further demand for rental properties and rising home prices in unexpected areas. Big players are already making their moves. Preti & Partners, they own 97,000 houses. They just announced $1 billion investment exclusively into affordable housing, targeting the Section 8 housing voucher program. Foreign investors are looking at mid-tier markets like Nashville, Austin, certain pockets of Miami, where home prices are still affordable, but that might not last forever. New housing will become even more expensive, but further driving demand for existing homes. So what does this mean for the average American? If you own a property, expect values could rise, but also expect higher property taxes and higher replacement costs for insurance. Insurance is going to be factoring in inflation and the rising cost to insure these properties. If you're a renter, expect that your landlord may sell their building to another investor, potentially a foreign investor, that may increase rents. If that happens, cost of living will continue to get slightly more challenging. If you're a first-time buyer, expect a lot more competition. And the biggest question, if housing is already unaffordable for most Americans, what happens when centimillionaires, billionaires, and the elite start buying up tons of property? This isn't just about real estate. It's about where the money is going to be flowing. Governments worldwide are fighting to attract billionaires because they want their wealth, they want their investments, and they want job creation and economic output. But here's where things get really concerning. And the top 1% own 30% of the nation's wealth. Home ownership rates are declining and rental prices are skyrocketing. More Americans than ever are relying on government assistance. And that number is only expected to grow. If billionaires own all of the assets while the middle class is stuck renting everything and paying off the debt, we could see the biggest wealth transfer in modern history. And the real question is this a smart economic move? Or are we literally selling America to the highest bidder? So what's the end game here? Will this help America by bringing in trillions of dollars in investment? Or will it widen the wealth gap even further, pushing everyday Americans out of reach to acquire their first home? This isn't the first time something like this has happened. The UK and Canada shut down similar programs because it attracted so much capital. It caused a bubble inside of the real estate market. You look at what's unfolding in the condo market in most cities in Canada. A lot of foreign investors pushed prices so high that local citizens, they simply could not afford to buy a home. The US real estate market is already fragile, and adding massive foreign investment could make it even worse. And now another question, is this just a way for the rich to get even richer? I believe so. If we add 1 million people that have the ability to spend $5 million on just the visa itself, you could imagine what will happen to affordable real estate markets throughout this country. Prices will balloon. Even expensive real estate markets, they will just continue to go up. And we will likely walk in to a dystopian type of world if we attract that much liquidity here in America. You even have the UAE discussing plans to invest $1.2 trillion in America. So you have all this liquidity coming after a finite source of land. What's going to happen? When the government prints our money into oblivion, $1 trillion every 100 days, is going to chase assets. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think this is a great thing to attract, the elite from around the world, the centimillionaires, billionaires, the politicians, the hedge fund managers, royalty to America, and they bring all their money with them? I think that we're going to see a big shift of values if this does happen. The fact that they sold 1,000 of these Trump cards in the course of 24 hours signals that this could just be the start. But I'm curious as to what you think. Do you think we're walking into a major wealth shift in America? Let's have a conversation below. If you'd like to learn what I'm doing, I'm investing heavily in Ohio. Affordable real estate, I think, is the future. Owning affordable rental properties, I think, will really show the test of time in the next 5 years, 6 years, just how great of an investment it really was. Let's have a conversation below. If you'd like to learn more about what I'm doing, go to singlefamilyinvestors.com. That's singlefamilyinvestors.com. You can click the link in the description just below. Catch you next video.